Nothing changes if nothing changes. You can't change your life if you don't change something that you're doing with your life. Doing the same thing and expecting different results is, the definition of insanity. I'm going to get personal, but if I was to look at my own life, I'm not saying that things were terrible, but things weren't going how I wanted things to go. I wasn't at the point I wanted to be. I was always focused on where I want to be instead of focused on where I am. And I was just numbing myself with a lot of cheap dopamine. Of course, none of those things actually helped. Eventually, I got to the point where I realized something's got to give. Something has to change in order for something to change. Time was just slipping through my fingers. I think a lot of people might be able to relate to the feeling that I was going through. Say like it's I want to lose weight, or I want to gain muscle, or I want to, just go around and see the world. I want to start a business. I want to do all these different things. A lot of us probably put things off thinking, I'll get to it later. We have to come to the conclusion that the only thing stopping us is ourselves. My dad always says that it's this thing of when you point at somebody, yeah, you've got one finger pointing at them, but you've got 3 fingers pointing back at yourself. And it's that thing, it's taking accountability of like, I can't blame anyone else. I have to realize that I'm the only one stopping myself from making these changes. I'm the only one stopping myself. And oftentimes it's either 2 things. It's laziness or fear of failure. And laziness in modern day is getting harder and harder to fight because they bombard us marketing-wise with all these things to make our life comfortable. And comfortability often leads to laziness. Manual cars are pretty much on their way out. Automatic cars is the lazy man's way to drive. You don't need to change gears. The car will change gears for you. You don't need to get up and change the song. Alexa will change the song for you. You don't need to do all these different things. We have all these new products that will do these things for you. And all that gets down to is like you get so comfortable that you start to almost sedate yourself that you don't actually do anything. All you do is get up, go to work, go home. If you wrap yourself up in this cocoon of comfortability, all that means is that you don't have reason to change because you're comfortable. If anything, it makes it harder to change because you're comfortable. Why would you want to change if you're comfortable? Why would you want to change if everything's so perfect, right? Well, it isn't. And the second reason for not changing is, like I said, the fear of failure. And the fear of failure is this poison to progress. I had to change my view on what failure meant to me and what failure is. Nowadays I look at failure as almost a positive thing because it's like, at least I tried. You can do nothing and you won't fail. Or you can try and you will fail. If you were to envision what it is you want, and someone's just put it behind the door, but it's a door that looks like 1,000 other doors. Failure is going to one of those doors and what you want isn't behind that door. But now you know it isn't behind that door. That's one door out of 1,000 that you don't need to check again. That's progress. And say that you open 50 doors, 100 doors, and the thing that you're looking for isn't behind those doors. You're still making progress. You're still getting closer to the thing that you want to achieve. And now let's keep it interesting. Say that behind one of these doors isn't the thing that you're looking for, but it's something else that can actually help you. Or it's something else that you weren't looking for, but is interesting to you. It's going out and trying things and making opportunity come to you. If you sit around and do the same thing all day, opportunity isn't going to come to you. Opportunity is just going to pass you by. Failure isn't a bad thing. Failure means that you tried. And if you carry on trying, it isn't even true failure. It's better to fail at something and learn your lesson and learn what it is that you did wrong so that you don't have to do that in the future than it is to just procrastinate and never actually try. Because procrastination is just a pathway to regret. You can procrastinate and procrastinate and procrastinate and overthink to the point that you think yourself out of doing what it is that you want to do. And it really boils down to the simple thing of just do. Whatever it is you want to do, find what the first step is and do it. We can't all, start off completely amazing at something. But if we start today, we'll be better tomorrow. If we start today, that's one step that we don't need to take tomorrow. And it's this thing of sometimes it's easier to keep the ball rolling than it is to start the ball rolling. Sometimes it's easier to keep walking than it is to get up and take that first step. Like it's this thing of we can't wait for everything to line up and be perfect and, oh yeah, I'm going to do this when X, Y, and Z align. I'm going to travel the world when, I have £1 million in the bank and, I can do this and I can do that. Or, yeah, I'm going to start going to gym when I've got this and this and this and that. There's no better time than now. Because who says that X, Y, and Z or this and that is ever going to come? And then what? You talked yourself out of doing something based on hypotheticals. It's crazy because we're constantly spending the most valuable currency that we have, which is time, by the way. I think of time as a currency because oftentimes people pay you for your time, you pay for someone else's time. And time isn't the future, time isn't the past, time is the present. If you turn up now, you'll get paid. If you do this for me now, I'll pay you. Time is the present. And it's the most valuable currency we have. And oftentimes we're spending it on nothing. We're spending it on nothing. We're spending it on thinking about doing the things that we want to do. Instead of getting up and doing the thing that we want to do. The time best spent would be the time where you do it and you do it now. Instead of planning like, okay, yeah, I'm going to do that later on down the line. Because later on down the line doesn't always come. We think that tomorrow's promised, but it's not. And if we're lucky enough to wake up tomorrow, you have to give your future self that head start and give them a reason to thank your past self. That's the way that I've been looking at stuff now. It's this kind of, if I do something today, it's something that me tomorrow doesn't have to deal with. Whereas me tomorrow could end up hating the me of yesterday if I never do things. If I don't take out the bin, if I don't do the washing, if I don't do all these things that I know I need to do and all these things that I want to do, I just keep pushing it onto the me of tomorrow and making them have so much more burden. Whereas I've got time now. I can do something that the me of tomorrow will thank me for. It's all about being kind to yourself. And that doesn't always mean about, oh yeah, I'm going to pamper myself and take time from... No, I do that occasionally, but you exist on more dimensions than just the here and now. Look after your future self. Spend time with your past self and learn from your past self. Snakes get a very bad stigma, but we can learn from them. When the snake has outgrown its skin and it is uncomfortable and it knows that it needs to make a change, instead of sitting in the uncomfort and feeling all tight and constrained and and complaining to the other snakes about, oh yeah, nah, I don't feel good in my skin and rah rah rah. No, it starts to shed its skin. It makes the change. It lets go of its old self in order to make room for its new self. I guess it's sacrifice. It's sacrifice. You need to sacrifice your old self in order for your new self to be born. And it sounds crazy, like human sacrifice has been around for as long as humans have been around, probably. Maybe there's some truth to it on a metaphorical scheme or on a metaphorical sense. You need to kill your old self in order for your new self to be born. If your old self is doing things that don't align with your new self and who you want your new self to be, you gotta get rid of them. You gotta be the metaphorical hitman to yourself. And it's gonna hurt because right now we are our old self. We're doing the things that we don't want to be doing. We're just creatures of habit. So all we need to do is be like the snake and be brave enough to shed our own skin. And it's going to be painful. But it'll be worth it. It's like you either suffer the temporary pain of hard work and change, or you suffer the longer pain of regret. I'm not saying that I'm perfect. I'm far from it. I'm still not the person I want to be. I'm just thinking out loud. You know what I mean? In hopes that this can help somebody else. But I've come a long way. I've come to the conclusion to make some change in my life. I needed to change things. I haven't drank for like 3 years. I don't smoke anymore. I barely play video games. I make time for exercise at least 3 times a week, and say that there's an idea I have, a business idea or any type of idea, I jump in head first. And if I make a mistake and if I fail, that's a bit of knowledge that I wouldn't have got from procrastinating about it. And now I'm one step closer to actually completing it and doing it. Because I know how it feels now. Something I've learned is I learn more by doing it and getting something wrong than I do by just thinking about it and planning it and letting time slip through my fingers. All that being said, if there's something you want to do, if there's something you want to accomplish, big or small, do it now. You got this. Even if it's jotting down the first steps, so that when you do get the free time, you can start doing it. Yeah, I hope that this video has reached whoever it needed to reach, and whoever it needed to reach, I hope you found it useful. I think I've found it useful. Stay blessed. Get to the first step of accomplishing whatever it is that you want to accomplish. I've got faith in you. And drop a like, comment, subscribe for more. And I'll see you next time. Much love.